little bass fishing during your lunch break for you guys that are out there at work right now. For any of you that are out there on the lake, make sure you drop a comment. Let me know what lake you're fishing on right now. Just getting some things set up, coming up with a game plan for the day to decide, what we want to focus on. So right now, as you guys can see, I'm kind of offshore. And I told you yesterday during the live stream that we were going to be out here once again, taking a look at live imaging. So let's get over here and just take a look at the screen, see if things are up and running. All right, there we go. All right, so we have our live imaging going. And what we're going to do is scout around, see if we can find some fish. Of course, you guys know that I love a top water bite. So I'm going to see if there's any takers on that today. But one of the things that I did want to take a look at was, how you see a lot of the pros out here using those minnows, jig head minnows. Seems like it's the craze, the thing that's going on now. But, I never really did get into that. So I do have something set up. So I might try that and see how that goes for today. But really appreciate everybody for tuning in. Make sure you hit the like button on your way in. We're going to be out here for maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours, something like that. See how many fish we can catch. As I catch the fish, as always, I will hold them up to the screen, let you guys take a look at the fish and see if you can guess the weight of the fish. I have a nice Pro Series tournament scale that I use. I'll put the fish on that scale and let you see how close you are to guessing the weight. All right, so let's see what we're starting off with right now, guys. We're going to start off with this topwater bait. This is a gunfish. We're going all chrome. The reason we're going all chrome right now, I kind of like the way that they look. Sometimes these bait have to catch the fishermen as well. But if you can take a look up there, sun is bright and shiny today. And if you look around, there are no clouds. This is kind of what people call bluebird skies, which generally has been known to be a tougher time for fishing. But the thing about fishing, guys, you can always get out here, even if you're not catching anything, just enjoy the time away from things, nice relaxation. Some people come out here, like you see the people out there, they're on a nice sailboat. They're not fishing or anything. They're just out cruising around, relaxing in the sun, taking in some sun, enjoying some time out on the lake. So we will always be able to get that done. But now I'm just kind of scouting around. I see some fish out here. Let's see. So there we go. Take a look at that. There's a nice little pod of fish out that way. Let's just make a cast out there. Okay, there they go. They're coming up, guys. They're coming up. How about that? Just that quick. But they're not committing, it doesn't look like. All right, so what I'm gonna do is just kind of back off of these fish a little bit because they're not really that high up in the water column. All right, what's going on? We have Hog Catcher checking in. He says, Hog Catcher here. What's going on, man? We got to get you back out on the lake. We have Jay Trinidad says, ain't no way how much you paid for that fancy tech, brother. It costs a lot. All right, we have, let's see, Sunman Receipt says, jump in the water. No, partner, I can't jump in the water. I am not doing that. All right, but yeah, we're just out here scanning around, looking to see what these fish want to do for today. Trying to have some fun with it. All right, so there's some bait fish right here, and there's some fish right on top of those fish. Let's see if I can get them to come and hit on top over there. Let's see. There were some bait fish out there. So I'm just walking this bait right across the top of the water. So they were actually eating those bait fish. So that's why I hurried up and made that quick cast out there just to see if I could get something to come up. But nope, they did not come up. All right, so there they go. Those are the two fish we were targeting. They're heading back to wherever they were kind of posted up at. All right, we have 23. What is that? B-Rad? Am I saying that right? Biggest fish I ever caught was a 5-pound male black bass largemouth. Okay. All right, good deal with that. What's going on? We have Mako Mills checking in. He says, what's up? On the lake, I'm sure you're fishing near the dam. No, sir, not today. Not today. We're moving around. We're checking some other things out. What I want to do for the day, I mean, of course, I'm starting out throwing some of my usual things that I throw, but I want to start trying out some of those jig minnows that everybody is talking about. So I'll show you guys that in just a minute, but I just showed you a second ago what I'm throwing right now is a gunfish, and we are hitting the all chrome on chrome. Call that chromey chrome, because that sun, where is it at? There we go. See that sun shining bright. Bluebird skies. There are no clouds out here. So today will probably be a tough day of fishing, but you never know. You never know. Let's see if we can make some things happen. All right, so I want to change something up a little bit, just in case they're not ready to commit to the top water bite. I have my handy dandy Spro. I have a nice swim bait. Now look at these fish out here. They're kind of suspended out in about 15 feet of water. So if I throw this out there and kind of come over their heads with it, let's see if I can get a good long cast. Was that 80 feet? I think so. I think I made it. So we're gonna see if those fish start reacting, and you can see how they're kind of moving a little bit. Somebody yesterday was talking about Mega Live versus Target Lock versus Garmin, all that kind of stuff. So we're gonna see. You guys see that I'm running Mega Live. So is that Mega Live gonna come into, is it gonna make some things happen for me today? We're gonna see. Let me go ahead and just burn this back to the boat real quick and make another cast. Get this cast right out there to where those fish are at. Let's see if that'll get a reaction on them that time. All right, it looks like the answer may be no. I have my eye on one of those fish out there that I want to see if I can get that fish to react, because it is a very nice looking fish. But the problem right now is that my casts are off. My casts are not going where I need them to be. So let me just focus on getting my cast right. Man, I really like this setup that I have for this bait. I mean, I can throw this thing out there, not worrying about a backlash or anything. So I'm throwing it on a 7/6, what is that, medium heavy rod with an 8-gear ratio reel, guys. 8-1 to 1. And I have this on fluorocarbon line, 12-pound fluorocarbon. And it would be nice if those fish came up and started hitting on top, but hey, we'll see. All right, so let's see what is going on, guys. I'm hopping back in the chat. Burning Season says, yo, Money, what's going on? We have the Burning Season checking in. And I got to give a big shout out to Bass for Him, the current sponsor of today's live stream. Hit me with the $10 super chat yesterday. So I said, let me get out here and catch a fish for the sponsor of the live stream. So we'll go ahead and get that knocked out. I'll get a fish to the boat, let you guys take a look at it. See if you can guess the weight. All right, what does Adam say? Adam says biggest bass I ever caught is a 28-pound, 42-inch striped bass. Oh my goodness. Flashy baits are the best time of the year. Okay. Hog Catcher says, not for me. I love the sun. Yeah, I know why you love the sun, because I know what your number one technique is. out here, out here in the depths, things are a little bit different. But yeah, so yeah, right now, if I went and and I fished that technique that you like fishing, I'm pretty sure I could get some results like that. But for me, sometimes when I'm out here, I have fun just throwing different baits and doing different techniques out on the lake. So that's kind of what I'm doing today. I'm just testing out some things, trying to see if I can work on some stuff. All right, what does Tony say? Wish you would buy a Solix. I've got bad interference when using trolling motor, and when someone goes by me on plane, or even picking up interference on other boat trolling motors. Oh yeah, I heard about those interference issues and things like that people have been having on some of their units. So mine, I'm not really having interference issues. And if you search MoneyBass Mega Live installation, I go over in detail how I set up everything on my Mega Live to where I didn't have any interference. Everything has been working great for me. And I installed this this on and off switch right here for my live imaging system. I know in the instructions it does say that you need to have some type of get another cast out there. All right, that cast may have been a little bit better. I think that hit right where I needed it to go. All right, but yeah, just search MoneyBass Mega Live installation, and hopefully some of that information in there will help you out. All right, Mako Mill says Robert G is out here on Lanier. Pros fishing Lanier. Okay, all right, so the Robert G out here doing his thing. All right, so I'm seeing activity, but the thing is right now, these fish aren't really... All right, so that was a great cast. Okay, there he comes. There's a fish coming up to it. Let's see if I can get him to take it. All right, I'm fishing it and killing it, guys. All right, so here they go. Those fish are coming over toward the bait. My bait is sitting right here. I'm just letting it sink right now and seeing if those fish will react to it, which they are not. Not doing what I want them to do. So yeah, like I said, this may be one of those days, but this is the bait that I was throwing right here. A Spro Sashimi. All these crazy names on these baits. I've changed the hooks out on there. So I need to throw something that will go down there to those fish since the sun is out the way that it is. So let's see, let's try something different. See if I can get a good 80-foot cast out there. Bam, all right, good cast. And we're gonna count that down. And what this will do is let me see how these fish react to this bait. And right now, like I said, based on the weather conditions, I mean, it's a real nice day out here on the lake. But for what I'm trying to do, it may not be the thing that the fish are looking for. So we'll see. We're about to find out right now. I just want to see how these fish are going to react to this bait. See that nice slow reel right there? That's going to give them some time to go and take a look at it. See if they want to go ahead and put the mouth on it. This will let me see, like, if the fish are really active or not, if they're just going to follow behind baits today. You know how that goes. All right, so there they go. All right, so my bait is right out here, and you can see all those fish following it. Can you guys see that? Let me go ahead and speed it up a little bit, get it to the boat. So some of those fish follow me all the way back to the boat. Let's go ahead and make one more cast with that. Maybe if I came out a little bit earlier, like I had originally planned, things would be a little bit different. Really appreciate everybody for tuning in. If you could, please take a moment to tap that like button. It really does make a difference. And if you guys have any questions or anything that you want to see as far as the rod reel setups, I'll give you a tour of the boat in just a second. I know some people are asking about that, so we can do that also. Uh-oh, here they come, guys. Let me speed it up a little bit. Let me kill it. Still didn't. Okay. Let's see. Let's speed it up a little bit. Kill it again. All right, speed it up a little bit. So yeah, they're not really, they're just looking today. There's some window shoppers. Just looking. But you know, I have something for that. Whenever they don't want to come up and talk to me, I'll go down there to where they're at. Let's throw a shaky head out there. All right, so now what this will do is let me, fish a little bit slower so I can talk to you guys while I'm fishing the shaky head. See what happens. Just out here for a little afternoon fun. Well, actually, it's still morning. Still a little morning and afternoon fun. Appreciate everybody for taking a little time out of their work day, tuning in, hanging out with me for an hour or two. All right, let's hop back into the chat. What are you guys talking about in the chat? All right, shout out to Ash. All right, hit the sub button, really appreciate it. We have Princess checking back in, says, good morning, good morning, good morning. How you doing? Glad you could tune in today. All right, let's see. Lord Hagen. Hope I'm saying that right. Says, caught something? No, sir, not yet. We are just getting started. I've been out here for about 15 minutes. So we'll see what we can make happen today. All right, Princess says, good morning from Lake Lanier. Oh, yes, sir, that's where I'm at. Well, yes, ma'am, we're out here on Lake Lanier. Zoe says, anything good yet? Well, we are seeing some fish. I'll show you guys that on the screen in just a second. Let me see. Zoe said, had a good day bass. Let me see. Had a good day bass day with my dad yesterday. Great job. That is a good deal. Always good to, good to get out and spend some time with your family and friends. All right, let's see. Isaiah says, love the channel and subbed. All right, really, really appreciate that. Oh, yeah, for anybody that is just tuning in, welcome to the channel. We get together each week, sometimes out here on these live on the waters. I do these once, twice, 2 or 3 times a week. Just never know. But if you are subbed, you will get the notification to let you know when we are out here on the water. And what we do is I get out here, I'll try a few different techniques. Sometimes I'll show you guys the baits that I'm using, let you pick what you want me to try to catch the fish with. I'll show you the fish that are located on the screen that I'm targeting. Like, for instance, right here, you can see there's some cover right here on the screen. The fish are out here just kind of roaming around everywhere. So you just have to decide, which bait that you think those fish will bite right now, and just kind of get out there and try to make some things happen. So really appreciate it. And if you could, hit that like button too. That really does help the channel, helps us push out there. We've been growing pretty fast also. So if anybody's been paying attention, yes, we are growing pretty fast. Tony says, have you really helped me on, he says, you have really helped me on my helix. All right, really appreciate that, Tony. Yeah, so that's what we're here for. If you guys are going to be out on the lake, maybe you're not having some success stories to tell, just drop some questions or comments or things in there about what you're experiencing out on your lake. If I can't answer it, maybe there's somebody that's watching that can give you some helpful information to help you have a better time out on the lake. All Catcher says, get a fish in the boat already. I guess I'm talking too much, but see, whenever I come out here and I'm doing my lives, it's kind of fun hanging out with people and seeing what everybody's thinking. So yeah, I do need to get folks and go ahead and get a fish to the boat first. So maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll go ahead and catch a fish so you guys can take a look at it, see if you can guess the weight. And then, I can hop back into the chat a little bit more. All right, so let me just focus on some of these fish that I'm taking a look at now, just so I can get a better feel of what they're doing out here. Continue to get active in the chat. Like I said, if you could, go ahead and hit the like button. It really does help the channel. And if you are subscribed to the channel, type subscribed in the chat. I just want to see, because we have a nice little crowd watching. The likes aren't up to par yet. Hopefully you guys will go ahead and hit that like button. But if you are subscribed to the channel, hit subscribed in the chat. I just want to get a feel for who we have watching and, who is subbed and who is a spectator. All right, Small Water Charter, subscribe. Clint Perry, what's going on, Clint? Glad to see you. Hog Catcher, all right, yeah, definitely subscribe to the channel. Really appreciate that. All right, yeah, and if you guys could, just go ahead and, like I said, just type subscribed in the chat if you are subscribed to the channel. And while you're doing that, I'm going to focus on getting a fish to the boat for you. How about that? We have the masked bass. Tid checking in. Listen, peoples. Listen to this. Mark your calendars. November 9th and November 10th. You are going to be witnessing a live beatdown on Lake Logan Martin. So we're going to have 8 anglers. We are going to have a live on the water competition. And for anyone who has not seen the format, search MoneyBass Battle of the Anglers on YouTube, and you will see exactly what I'm talking about. You will see us going head to head. The anglers will be communicating with each other. We will be communicating with you in the chat. It is a great time. So it's similar to what you're seeing now, but instead of just seeing the point of view, you actually see 8 anglers on the screen. So you actually see everything that we're able to see And you will be able to root for your favorite angler, get active in the comments, all of that good stuff. All right, so it is November 9th and November 10th. Logan Martin, set your calendars. We'll be doing a Meet the Anglers also, so you can meet the guys that are going to be participating. So it is definitely going to be a great time. Shout out to Steve Wimpy. He is a member of the channel. Those are the people that I call the money team. So anybody that you see that has that badge next to their name, those are the members of the channel. So shout out to the money team, strong supporters. Really, really appreciate it, guys. All right, so we've been rolling for 20 minutes. So, you know, I take about 30 minutes, 30 minutes to get warmed up. Then we'll go ahead and see if we can get something to the boat. All right, so I see these fish starting to kind of react a little bit different to the baits now. And sometimes, you know, it's just a timing thing as far as a timing window. All right, so that was a good cast right there. So I got right out there at 65 feet. You can see these fish lined up right here that I'm targeting. So my bait is coming right down to where those fish are at. You can see them kind of moving around a lot now because that bait's coming right down there to where they're at. Some of them did go down after it, but some of them stayed up there and did not go down at all. So we'll see how that works out. They're not as active as I want them to be, so we're not going to be in this location too much longer. Hog Catcher says, am I invited? We may be doing one on Lake Lanier. So what's going on with that, Hog Catcher? You ready to come back to Lake Lanier? So I'll be sending out invites for that one shortly. So let me know if you're interested in Lake Lanier, because that one's not full. Logan Martin is already full. We will have 8 anglers live on the screen for Logan Martin. But yeah, if you're interested in Lake Lanier, make sure you send me a message and let me know, and we'll get that date set up. We have Mask Off checking in. He says, take that mask off. Mask off. All right, let's see. Big Game Slayer says, I live on Lake Champlain, and my son does a local bass club, and when I go with him, I do just as good as him, just knowing. Okay. All right, so yeah, I mean, after spending time with your son, now that's definitely a great time right there. Building memories and things like that. So yeah, so these fish over here aren't active at all. Even though I can see them, I can get out here and do some practice casting a little bit. Let's throw this fluke out there to him. You never know, never know. But yeah, so this type of day, just for those wanting to know, if you wanted to come out here and catch some fish, when this bluebird skies, like you see that sun up there shining bright, no clouds in sight, you'd be better off going shallow, hitting some docks and things like that. Okay, these fish are coming up to try to hit that fluke. Let's see. Oh, man, they're just all over it. Look at them. Look at them, guys. They were all over it, but did not commit to it. Isn't that terrible? Isn't that terrible? That was supposed to be some action right there. Well, I guess it was some action, but nothing came to the boat with that action. All right, but if that is getting those fish to react like that, so I'll throw this out here a little bit, and we'll just kind of fan cast it and see if maybe that'll get those fish to come all the way up and commit to that bite. All right, Steve Wimpy, he says the Whipstick Wimpy will be whipping on Logan Martin November 9th and 10th. That is right. So we have Wimpy. He is a member of the money team, and he is going to be one of the anglers that is going to be competing in the Battle of the Anglers November 9th and 10th on Lake Logan Martin. All right, for anybody that has put that on the calendar that is planning on watching that tournament, type Logan Martin in the chat, or just put Logan in the chat. I just want to see, you know, if anybody already has plans to be in attendance. So it will be live on YouTube. Just make sure you go to MoneyBass on YouTube, and that's where you'll be able to see that tournament on November 9th and 10th. So put Logan in the chat if you are going to be watching that. Big Game Slayer says TV fish. Yes, sir. We're trying to catch some TV fish today. But on Logan Martin, I think it's going to be a little different then. So out here on this lake, I am focusing on let's see if I can get those fish to come up again. They are not. They are not wanting to cooperate. All right, they're looking. They're looking. They're looking, they're looking. So all I'm doing is throwing that bait. There's my bait right here. I'm just dropping that all the way down there where those fish are at and just seeing how they react to it. All right, there we go. There's some schooling fish. So that's what I want to see, that schooling activity, guys. Let's see if I can get that cast all the way out there far enough. All right, no takers on that. All right, let's go ahead and move out. So there's some fish out here, but not enough activity. Not enough fish wanting to commit to the bite. So we're going to pack up, roll out. Like I said, if you guys have any questions, comments, make sure you get active in the chat. Please take a moment to double tap your screen. Hit that like button for me. It really does help the growth of the channel. And we have been growing very, very fast, guys. So things are going good, looking good. So I really appreciate the strong support of the channel. Somebody was asking about the boat, so let's just take a look at that real quick. So up front, you see I have these two screens. Then I'm running a 360. I have a Mega Live on my Ultrex trolling motor. Then if you swing back here, this is a Nitro Z20. At the dash, I have two units. Right now, I only have this one right here. The other one, I just have it sitting over there. Don't have that one connected just yet. And on the back, I'm rolling that Merc 250. And I have a Talon on that side and another Talon. Those are shallow water anchors for anybody that does not know. Really appreciate the support of the channel, guys. So what we're going to do is pack up and run to another area. And what we're doing is just trying to find some active fish. One of the things that I'll eventually get to today is I want to start playing around with some of those minnow baits that you hear all the pros and everybody is turning to fishing offshore. I haven't really been fishing that technique, that style of bait, but something I did want to take a look at. All right, so we're about to roll out, guys. So just hang in there while we roll. I'll be running for maybe about 1 minute or so, but I'll be showing you some of the scenery as I'm running. So we'll be just kind of panning around. right, appreciate everybody that stayed along for the ride. Now we're back at it once again. Gonna see if we can target some offshore topwater fish. Hopefully. Let's get everything lined up. A lot of times what I find is whenever I first pull up on spots, on locations out here, the disturbance from the boats get those fish active and they'll start hitting on top before you even get set up and everything. But you know, if you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. So let's make sure we're ready, just in case they start schooling immediately. All right, so I'm sitting in 45 feet of water. Now look at that, there are fish down there swimming around all the way down on the bottom in 50 feet of water. So let's go ahead and move around a little bit. All right, let's hop back into the chat. What are you guys talking about in the chat? Yeah, Froggy checking in, says, catch a big one. Stephen says, what lake are you on? I am currently on Lake Lanier. Lake life is the best life. All right, that is right. We have Chris Phillips checking in. Shout out to the Money Team once again. He says, MoneyBass, what's up? Let's get to catching up. Oh, yeah, we're about to catch a few now. All right, let's see. Shout out. Let's see. I live in the UK and have never been seen a bass before, as they don't live here. Are they hard to catch? And if so, what is the biggest you've caught? So the biggest spotted bass I've caught is a, let me see. Oh my goodness, they're out there feeding on a school of bait fish right now, guys. So the biggest spotted bass that I've caught is 5 pounds, 11 ounces. Let's see what those fish are out there doing, guys. So yeah, so they're out there chasing bait fish, which is a good sign. All right, and since they're doing that, let's change this bait up a little bit. I think I need to throw something that will make some top water commotion and get them activated. Let's see if I can do that. All right, so yeah, so they're definitely out there active right now. Let's change this bait up real quick, because I can pull this right through those bait fish. If I can get them locked on again. Where'd they go? There they go. All right, so let's back off a little bit. All right, Farron White says Lake Lanier is about 50 miles from the state capital. All right, let's see. Thought I might have heard something out there. All right, so these fish are about 50 feet out. I'm a little closer than what I generally like to be. But let's go ahead and get that bait out there on them. We're going to count this down on them. I think we might be able to get one of these, guys. I think we might be able to get one. All right, here we go. See that slow reel going on right there. Come on, come on. All right, so look at them. They're schooling on those fish right now. They're eating those bait fish. And they were following my bait too, but they didn't take it. So it's going to be one of those days, like I was saying. So these bluebird sunny skies is going to make this offshore bite. The techniques that I want to catch the fish with today is going to be a little more difficult. All right, what does Stefan say? He says, have you ever been to Keystone? No, sir, I have not. All right, I see him schooling out on hitting on top over there. But as usual, they're kind of out of range for me to be able to catch them. All right, so we're going to make this cast out here and let it count down again. But we may have to end up going and fishing some things that are a little more shallow. Miguel says hit him with that wacky. Oh yeah, that is definitely a technique that would work right now. But there have been some people wanting to see, see some things with these electronics. So I come out here, show you guys a screen, show you a few different baits and things like that you could try. And it really just depends on all of these conditions that I've been telling you about. The way these fish are reacting right now is really a major factor. So they're not really committing to coming all the way up on top. Like I was mentioning earlier, the other thing is those minnow baits. With the way that these fish are chasing around these bait fish, I can see how those minnow baits will come into play. So let's see. Let me just go ahead and take some time and get one of those tied on so I can show you guys what we're talking about. And they are a little bit deeper, so I can go with kind of a bigger jig head size on those. Oh, and one of the other things that I definitely will get into in just a second is the drop shot. I like getting that drop shot, getting right above those fish and dropping down on them. It used to be a real good technique, but nowadays it doesn't quite work the same. All right, what are you guys talking about in the chat? Can we get a few more likes? Can I get about 5 to 10 more likes? If you haven't hit the like button, go ahead and tap that like button for me. The Bass Hunter checking in. Shout out to the Money Team. He is a member of the channel. He says, what lake are you guys going to be on next Battle of the Anglers? We are going to be on Lake Logan Martin. Make sure you set your calendars for November 9th and 10th. We will be on Lake Logan Martin. There will be 8 anglers going head to head on Lake Logan Martin. So you will see 8 anglers on the screen. For anybody that is watching that is not familiar with that format, just go to YouTube and search MoneyBass Battle of the Anglers, and you will see several episodes of that. Just go ahead and click on one, and better yet, go ahead and click on the episode from Logan Martin. The last Battle of the Anglers that we had was on Logan Martin, so we will be going back to that lake one more again. There were some guys that wanted to try to redeem themselves, so we're heading back to that lake once again. All right, let's see. Just trying to see which setup I want to use for this little jig head minnow. Oh, I didn't remember. Let me just change out this fluke. That fluke setup is perfect for what I want to do with that. So let's just reorganize some things real quick. Anybody else have any questions or anything in the chat? Hog Catcher says the lake is turning over. Hog Catcher says me and Bass Hunter want to come. We want to go. Well, look, the next one there'll probably be one on Lake Lanier before Logan Martin. So we'll probably have maybe 6 or 7 anglers doing the one on Lake Lanier. On Logan Martin, we already have that one booked up. That one's going to be 8 anglers going head to head. But if either one of you want to do Lake Lanier, make sure you reach out to me, shoot me a message, because I'm putting that one together right now. All right, so what we're going to do is go through here, and the minnow that we're going to use, let's see, do I have it sitting out here? Actually, I think I put it up. So we're just going through some of these boxes. So we're going to get rigged up and just try something a little different today. Sometimes, you come out to the lake, you just want to try some different things to see what is productive, and maybe you may run and stumble onto something that is that you find to be a very productive style of fishing. All right, so this is it's a 6 cents. I think it's called a hover juggle or something like that. I think that's what it's called. And let's see, just gonna find a nice jig head to put on that. Something about that size. And really, this bait is kind of beat up, so it's not necessarily what I want. I may just actually just throw one of these that I already have set up. How about that? So I did set up some of these smaller ones that are about the size of the bait that those bait fish are chasing out there. So let's just go ahead and roll with that. And these are some baits that I actually kind of customized myself. I took a fluke and just downsized it. I cut the middle of the body out and used a product called Mended and glued it back together. So we are going to run that for a minute. Okay, there goes the rest of the baits right there. So let's go ahead and get one of these out just in case I want to change that up a little bit. So there we go. That's a 6 Sense Products Juggle Minnow 4.0 9-pack. So let's go ahead and get one of those out. And I probably want to try a different jig head on that also. So let's see what we have in here. What do we have in my bag of tricks? What's going on? Tom Mix checking in. He says, good morning, MoneyBass. Just listening while I'm trying to do some things and not aggravate what I'm strained. Uh-oh, you don't want to strain that back. Bass Hunter, he don't want us on Logan Martin. we may have to do a Logan Martin redo. We'll see. We'll be out there for 2 days, guys. All right, that right there looks like it may. Right now, those fish seem like they want something smaller. So we'll just try this out, what we have right now. We'll roll with this for a minute. It's all in fun, just out here having a good time. So we'll see. Trying out a few different techniques. So let's get all these baits back in here. This is that line bag that I was telling you guys about. All right, so let's get tied on. Set that bait to the side. Man, it sure would be lovely if they were coming up on top, which they are not doing right now. Yeah, so I've drifted quite a ways off. There's some more bait fish. All right, so let's get this fluke off of here. So they were following that fluke, but they still didn't commit to it. All right, guys, we've been rolling for a good little minute. So I think it's about time for us to get a fish to the boat. And like I said, what we do as we catch these fish, I'll hold the fish up. I'll put them on the measuring board so you guys can actually see how long they are, get an idea of the size of the fish. Then I'll let you guys guess the weight. Call that the guessing game. See if anybody knows the fish size just by taking a look at it. All right, so on this, I'm just tying a quick polymer knot, and I do have a swivel on there right above it. Oh, man, don't you hate these boat flies? Where do these things come from out in the middle of the lake? They just bit my leg. All right, so got that tied on. So now all I'm gonna do is just kind of scout around and see where the fish have gone to. Make a few casts and see if we can make something happen. All right, so there's some out there at about 70 feet out. right, just giving it a little bit of action. See if we can get these fish to react to it. So I'm throwing this on 10-pound high-vis yellow braided line, and that's going to 8-pound. I probably need to downsize that leader to 8-pound line, but we'll just stick with 10 just to see if I can just get the action and everything right on it for a minute or two. But today we're just trying something new. You never know. Let me see, I don't think I got that cast where I want it to go, so let's try it again. All right, get a good 80-foot cast out of it. Bam, there we go. All right, just count it down. I'll be back in the chat in just a second. Trying to get dialed in on some of these fish real quick. Uh-oh, I heard some topwater hits over there. Adept says, what the fluke? All right. I see some fish coming in. Let's get out there about 70 feet. I think I'm right on top of them. Let's try dropping it down a little bit. There they go, chasing after it. All right, so they're on it, but still not biting. All right, so let's try something a little different. Let's go all the way down this. So they went to the bottom. They won't come to the top. But since they'll come to the bottom, let me just go down to the bottom where they're at. How's about that? All right, while we're doing that, let's hop back into the chat. What are you guys talking about in the chat? All right, Dip says, why do you need such high vis line? So the main reason I use the high vis line, I use a long leader, but for this line, when I'm fishing offshore, it lets me see the movement. So like when I make a long cast like that, I just watch that line. I can see whenever those fish actually, sometimes they may pick it up and you don't feel the bite. A lot of times you do, you'll see the line jump or something like that, but it just kind of helps. Whenever you have that clear line, it blends in with the water and makes it harder to see for me. But what I always say is you want to get things set up for what works best for you. So what's good for somebody may not be good for the next person. So you just want to try things out and, you know, do what works for you. All right, Tom Mick says, Money, have you ever used the, what is that, Okashira heads that don't have the spinner blade? I don't think I have used those before. What's going on, Tom G, checking in? All right, really appreciate everybody for tuning in. If you are new to the channel and you have not hit the subscribe button, please consider tapping that subscribe button. It really does help the channel. We are growing very fast. So I do really appreciate all the support and feedback I've been receiving from everyone. You guys have been, you know, having fun with these on the water live streams. So I will continue doing these. Try to get out here for an hour or two, make a few runs, show you guys a few things, especially with the electronics, since there were a lot of people that had questions about that. Yeah, so this is definitely one of those days where going a little more shallow will probably be the thing to do. Oh man, they're still out there hitting on top. Any minute, those fish could come and hit on top. Oh man, okay, so we're gonna head over to another location. We're just gonna keep on moving because I can see where there's some topwater activity. So they're definitely out there chasing those bait fish. So we're just gonna keep moving. And eventually what we'll do is run into some active fish. So we've been out here been fishing for maybe about, what, 45 minutes or so, guys. So we're still scouting around. Eventually, sooner or later, you come across those active fish. So you can find some fish, but that does not mean those fish are going to be biting. So you just have to keep moving around. Let's see, there's something out that way. Let's just chin check him and see what's going on. Tom G said you're going to be up at Lanier. So yeah, hit me up when you come to Lanier. I may be out on the lake the same time that you're out here. Who knows? Who knows? You never know. All right, so we're still in hunting mode. We're still scouting, guys. We're trying to find the active fish. So we've been able to find fish, but that isn't necessarily the issue. The issue is finding active fish is what we're looking for. All right, who is that? Adept went ahead and hit the sub button. Really, really appreciate it. Yeah, guys, like I said, we are definitely growing, getting a lot of good feedback. I really do appreciate everybody that takes time to support the channel, whether you are in the chat, hitting the like button, subscribing to the channel, all of that helps. So none of that goes unnoticed, guys. If you have hit the sub button, if you have subscribed since we have been on live today, type the word subscribed today in the chat. Like I said, I want to keep a mental note of who is supporting the channel. When you guys come along and start joining the action and participating with the crew, joining the money team, really appreciate all of that, guys. All right, let's see. We're working. We're working. All right, let's see. What else are you guys talking about in the chat? Grim says small chatterbait. Adept says go mess with some shore guys. All right. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I think I found what I've been looking for. All right, so I'm going to fish this low and slow back to the boat. Oh, my goodness. They're coming over here, guys. I was hoping they wouldn't come all the way to the boat like they're doing, but they're heading over here. They're like, hey, what is going on with that? Is that MoneyBass over there? So let me just pitch something out there right to them. See if I can pick them off on their way over here. Okay, okay. I see something. If you see something, say something, and I see something. So let's see. What did I just see? Yeah, it is heating up out here now, guys. The sun is bright. All right, yeah, so the sun is bright. Starting to get hot out here now. Let's see, what are you guys talking about in the chat? Willie Diggs says, Willie Big, am I saying that right? Let me see. Fast retrieve, yes sir. Got to get that trash retrieve on them. Chauncey says, remember to hydrate. Shout out to Chauncey. All right, so let's check out the scenery. Let's see what we can see out here, guys. So yeah, things have kind of changed up. I came out here a little late today, so I'm gonna have to change up my strategies just a little bit. One of the things that I do want to do is go ahead and get a drop shot ready. So when the sun gets high like this, sometimes these fish will go down into some of this deeper water. So let's go ahead and get that rigged up. Nice simple setup. Take out the drop shot box. Let's see, what color do we need? Let's go with this blue, and let's see what else we have in here. Go with this greeny green. Have a nice weight coming over here, moving the boat around a little bit. All right, and one of the things I like to do is put a little color on the tip. Just a little bit, just something to get their attention. So this is what I call hand-to-hand combat. When I get this drop shot, I'll head straight over the fish and see if I can get them to commit that way. A lot of times, the fish are very finicky, so it doesn't really pay off, but you never know once you find some of these fish and can get those fish activated. All right, let's see. What are you guys talking about in the chat? Oh, my goodness. Wait a minute. Did I miss something? I think I did. Who is this that has just logged into this live stream? Wouldn't you know, shout out to Joe Winkler. Very, very strong supporter of the channel. What does Joe say? He says, yo, MoneyBass, just checking in. Seen your boat gas was getting a little low. Really, really appreciate that, sir. Hit the channel with the $20 super chat. You, sir, are the sponsor of today's live stream. So let me go ahead and get a fish to the boat for Mr. Joe Winkler. You know, I have to represent for the sponsor of the show. And I think I owe a fish to Bass for him too. So let me get 2 fish to the boat, guys. There we go. How about that? All right, so we're gonna start putting in a little work. I'm gonna change up my techniques to go ahead and match the conditions. So really, really appreciate that. Big, big shout out to Joe Winkler, hitting the channel with the $20 super chat. We have Vet checking in. Says, what's up, man? What's going on, big dog? Then we have Willie Diggs says, old school Slayer. You know it. All right. All right, then we have Liam says, I'm new to the channel. Really appreciate you for tuning in, Liam. And if you guys could, as you come into the chat, please go ahead and double tap your screen. Hit that like button for me. It really does help promote the channel. And once again, if you are a new subscriber, you have just subscribed to the channel, type the word subscribe in the chat. I definitely want to give anyone that is supporting the channel, the subscribers, and of course, you know, big dogs that come into the chat like Joe Winkler, sponsoring the live stream for today. I always have to give props for that. But yeah, if you have just subscribed to the channel today, type subscribed into the chat. Like I said, I always want to give credit where credit is due. All right, shout out to Willie Dig. Really appreciate that. Vet said, did Steve tell you 2 people rear-ended me and totaled my boat after the Derby that week? What boat is that? Who is that? I'm not sure who. I don't know the name that goes along with that screen name. But that is definitely not a good thing. Hopefully nobody was injured. And, I mean, the bright side of things, maybe the insurance could have hooked you up and set you up with a whole new rig and everything. All right, so we're just on this drop shot right now, guys. We're sitting directly over some fish, and I'm just kind of taking my time, seeing, you know, if we can get those fish to commit. Seeing if they will commit. Arachnid. Oh my goodness, let's hit the subscribe button. Vet says red and white champion. All right, let's see. Let's see if we're seeing any action down here, guys. Do we need to move again? Yeah, looks like we may need to move again. They're like, no, sir, we're not going to cooperate today. Shout out to Chris. Chris said, I'm a subscriber. He hit the subscribe button. Really appreciate it, sir. Like I said, we are growing fast. Really appreciate all the participation from everybody that is supporting the channel, and however you choose to do that. All right, so let's take a break and show you guys real quick. So my drop shot setup, of course, once again, I use that high vis yellow, and that's so I can see the line. And right now I'm sitting in 28 feet of water. So this is my leader line. This is an 8-pound fluorocarbon leader. And I tie a double uni knot on this because I don't really cast it. So I'm not really worried about it going through the braids. I mean, through the eyes. So when I drop that down in about 28 feet, let's just see how long it takes for that leader to start coming out. So there you go. So you saw that leader. That leader is about a little over 20 feet deep, 20 feet long. So that allows that leader line whenever that bait hits the bottom. So you see that leader line just came out, and it should stop right about there. There we go. So it doesn't really go too far down into the water column. Now I see these fish out here right in front of this boat. So what we're going to do is just pitch this right out there to where they're at and see how they react to that bait going down there. We'll see. Let's see. So now that is on the bottom. They're giving me a hard time today. That's my 2 cents is, are you the Paul Harrell of fishing? I am not. I'm just out here having a little fun and bringing some guys and gals along with me to hang out for the day. Oh man, there's some nice fish down here. So look at this, what I'm fishing, guys. So here's a nice fish. He's just moving back and forth down there. But I'm dropping my bait directly down into this cover that those fish are hanging out in. And you see some fish out here moving around about 20 to 25 feet out in front of the boat. But right now, I'm just trying to see if I can get some of these fish that are down in that cover to just hit a drop shot. And all I'm doing with that is just dropping it straight down there and just leaving it in place, shaking it a little bit. And that's it. Oh, I thought I had a tappy tap. I thought I had a tappy tap, but I didn't. All right, guys. Really, really appreciate everybody for tuning in today. If you have not hit that like button, likes are free. Just double tap the screen. All right, so it looks like we need to head to the speed round, guys. I need to go ahead and get some fish to the boat. All right, so we're going to pack up and roll out once again. So as I'm running the lake, I will be showing you guys some of the scenery as I'm passing it so you can enjoy the view. So make sure you guys stay tuned in. So we're going to head to some areas now. I wanted to get out here and kind of play around a little bit. And I know you guys are like, hey, man, catch some fish already. So let's go ahead and see if I can make that happen. And what I'll do is show you guys some of the setups and everything that I have. And right now, if you take a look, I currently have 1, 2, 3 on that side and 3 on that side. So I have, what is that, 2 bait casters and 4 spinning reels on the deck. And that is just depending on what technique I need to use to get those fish to bite. All right, let's just check something real quick. All right, so we're gonna make a run And while we're running, please continue to get active in the chat. All right, Ryan says, where are you? Sir, I am on Lake Lanier. I'm on Lake Lanier midday, which is not a good time of the day to be doing the style of fishing that I was just doing. So we're gonna change some things up just a little bit. So we're gonna make a run. And like I said, while I'm making this run, continue to get active in the chat. We're gonna see if we can get a few fish to the boat now, guys. All right, back once again. Let's see who hung in there for the ride. Who hung in there for the ride? Shafiq says 2D sonar reading. Man, that bad day of fishing beats a good day at work. Oh yeah, I've heard that one before. All right, Big Mike says get us that monster bass. All right, so we're gonna take a look and see what we can see. Just trying to see if we can find some fish that want to cooperate. All right, so what were we on? We were on a, I always have to keep my top water ready just in case. And let's get that drop shot out. Let's see if we can get some fish to hit this drop shot since they're being a little finicky today. Small Water Charter says we managed 18 yesterday. Biggest was a 4-pounder. All right, good deal. That's a good day on the lake. Oh my goodness, Big Mike has come in with a $5 super chat. Says here, fishy, fishy. Oh my goodness, guys. You guys are putting me to work. So that's 3 fish I need to get to the boat. I need to get to work. I definitely have to get to work. Big shout out to Big Mike. Came in with a $5 super chat. Really, really appreciate that, sir. And gotta give a big shout out to Joe Winkler, the current sponsor of today's live stream. Really appreciate it, guys. guess it does kind of make fishing just a little bit more fun. How about that? All right, but now I got to get out here and put in some work. I got to give you your money's worth, right? All right, so I showed you the setup I was using for my drop shot. And all I'm doing is I'm being kind of stubborn because I'm still offshore. That's just fun for me, guys. I've always liked fishing offshore, with or without my forward-facing sonar. That's just something I've always done. So it's kind of hard for me to leave that because I know once I find those active fish that I can get some fish to the boat pretty easily. But the key word was active fish, and I haven't found them yet. Once again, big shout out to Big Mike. He says, time to get to work. Oh, wait a minute. He came in back to back. Time to get to work. All right. All right, Big Mike. Let me go ahead and get to work. All right, so that format for Battle of the Anglers, I know a lot of you guys generally see tournaments. They'll go from safe light to 3, 4 o'clock, something like that. But for Battle of the Anglers, it is fast and hectic. So we're out there for about 4 to 5 hours. So we fish about a half a day, where other tournaments are around 8 hours long. So we're moving fast. It's a real fast paced. I would say an aggressive tournament style is what you guys will be seeing whenever you watch that. So it is definitely something that you want to see. So mark your calendars for November 9th and November 10th. We will be on Lake Logan Martin out there making some things happen, guys. AK Carr says, did you catch anything? No, sir. We have not caught anything yet. So we've been rolling for a little over an hour, guys. We've ran to what? 2 different places, something like that. Okay, I just had a bite. I just had a little tappy tap. Let's see if I can get him to come back and hit it again so we can get a fish to the boat for the day. And what we're looking for, we're focusing on spotted bass today is the fish that we're looking to catch. And these fish on this lake, they are very, very finicky at certain times of the day. So they start getting into a kind of like a bite window where you have to pretty much be ready, be at the right place whenever those fish start getting active. All right, let's go ahead and move again. Let's move again. So you know when it's crunch time on those tournaments, especially for Battle of the Anglers, when you see that time ticking, it's like you don't have time to sit around and play around with them. When you know you just show it to them. If they don't put the mouth on, you got to pack up and jet. Be like, nah, you're not acting right. It's time for me to leave. All right, so yeah, just hang in there with me, guys. We're going to pack up and roll out again. And what we're going to do now is kind of go a little more inshore. Because, I mean, we're finding the fish offshore, but they're just not active. So that's the issue. Brandon Action says, you have live sonar, so why aren't they biting every cast? I don't know. I think the fish are broke. What do you think? I think it's the fish. This can't be me, because I do have live sonar. Has to be the fish. All right, so we're rolling again, guys. There's another boat out there, probably a striper fishing. All right, so who in here is familiar with Lake Lanier? If you are familiar with Lake Lanier, put Lanier in the chat. And who knows where this is located right there? Does that look familiar? Does that area look familiar? If you are familiar with Lake Lanier, put Lanier in the chat. All right, Samuel says, later, guys, lunch is over. Money, catch one for me. All right, so I'd have to catch one for Bass for him, Joe Winkler. Oh, my goodness. And then I can't forget Big Mike, who has came in strong with $10 worth of super chats today. So really, really appreciate the strong support of the channel today, guys. All right, so that's my 2 cents. Has never seen your channel before, but I know have a new, all right, a new favorite. All right, really, really appreciate it, guys. Make sure you do hit that like button. And if you are new to the channel, please consider hitting the subscribe button. We're out here having some fun. I'm showing you guys some different techniques. Some of you may have seen them before, and some of you may have not. Show you some things on the electronics. Out here just scouting around, finding some fish. And we are searching for spotted bass, guys, out here on Lake Lanier. So it would be nice to get one of those 4 or 5 pushing 6-pound smallmouth spotted bass out here. But these fish are kind of finicky. And I have a feeling that they're probably on docks and stuff like that. I'm not really set up to go and fish that today. So I will probably be back out once again tomorrow. Maybe tomorrow. That's what we'll do. So we'll go, for you guys that don't like the electronic style of things, we can go shallow tomorrow, hit some docks. I'll show you guys some different baits and techniques that I use whenever I'm fishing on the shallow side of things. All right, so we're gonna run a little bit more, and then we're gonna see if we can get some fish to the boat real quick. All right, guys, so we're finished with trying something a little different for the day. You know, I had to come out here and try that jig head minnow a little bit. What else do we do? 1 or 2 other techniques that I don't generally fish, because when I come out here, I do like to, you know, try to use 1 or 2 different techniques that I don't usually use, because that's the way to get better at things whenever you come out on the lake. And really, I should have spent more time trying some new things, but since I have you guys along with me and I know that you want to see some fish being caught, let's go ahead and see if I can make that happen for you real quick. So that's the goal right now. I need to catch 3 fish real quick. I need to catch 1 for Bass for him, and for the $10 super chat from yesterday. And big shout out to Joe Winkler for the $20 super chat today. He is the sponsor of today's live stream with that $20 super chat. And what I say each week, whoever gives the largest super chat, super sticker, or support for the channel during the live streams are the sponsors of that live stream, because this channel is supported by you guys, the viewers and subscribers of the channel. So really, really appreciate it. It does not go unnoticed. All right, so let's see. We're gonna come in here a little shallower and see what we can find out here in some of this shallow water, guys. So we have a nice shade line right out there. So I'm just throwing a nice little finesse top water over those fish. Okay, and I do so. Okay, so there are some active fish out here, guys. There were some little babies that came out chasing that bait that time. So we'll see. We'll see. So this water is very clear on this lake. Visibility for the fish, who knows what that is? Because like I said, this is a very clear lake. All right, what we're doing right now, I'm just looking at my mapping. We're coming up on a nice point. So once we get out here to this point, then I'm gonna kind of slow down a little bit and pick it apart. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. There we go, got it out of there. Good deal. All right, and I'll be back in the chat in just a second, guys. I'm gonna get here, get set up, see if we can find some active fish. And so now I'm just shallower now. That's pretty much what I've changed to. I'm just came in a little shallower. I'm gonna try some points because generally whenever things get finicky like that, I know these fish will still go out and roam on points and things like that. So that's all we're looking for. Let's hop back into the chat. What are you guys talking about? All right, let's see. Bennett says they should be feeding now. He said he's been running into nothing but super aggressive bass. Now that's the kind you want right there, super aggressive. Yeah, so it looks like it's another one of those days, guys, where I'm not gonna get my top water action on. I need to get out here a little earlier for that. But I always like trying to see if I can make those fish do something out of the scope of what they normally do. All right, here we go. Let's get changed up. And then I'll hop back into the chat, see what you guys have to say, see how everything is going out there. Is anybody going to be fishing any tournaments this coming weekend? Is anybody going to be fishing any tournaments or just out on the lake fun fishing? What do you guys have planned? What's going on? And if you're currently fishing like any tournament trails, put some information in there. Talk to us. Let us know what you're doing. Tom says a 1/4 ounce buzz bait. That's my 2 cents. Says, what state are you in? I am currently in Georgia. Fred Dyer says, do you throw that emerald popper? I have 2, but I did not throw that today. Maybe we could try that out tomorrow. So I'll come out here, hang out with you guys for maybe an hour or 2 whenever I can. All right, so let's see. What we're doing now, we're kind of in the speed round because I need to get some fish to the boat for you guys so we can play the guessing game, see who can guess the weight of the fish. So that's what we're going to do now, guys. Let's go ahead and get one to the boat. All right, what else do we have going on in here? That's my 2 cents. Says small game time, small game season here in Michigan. All right. Sam says it's also salmon season. Man, that must be nice. All right, I'm back, guys. Thought I had a phone call I had to take. All right, so now what we're focusing on is just going slow and low. These fish were, I was able to locate those fish, but they weren't really getting active. So had to change the program up a little bit. And now let's see how long it takes to catch something that I've slowed things down a little bit. Getting out here where I can see these fish. All right, I see a few fish out that way. Let's change some things up. Tom said, hey, you got to take those calls. All right, let me see. Be a sail says, not an anchor. Oh, my goodness. These fish are schooling right here by the boat, guys. And I missed it. Man, they were chasing all those bait fish. They were skipping across the water. Sounded like raindrops hitting the water. James says, have you tried chewing gum when you run out of bait? I have not tried that, but I can actually see how that could work if you chew it and make it the shape of of like a little Ned rig or something like that. I can see how that could work. But yes, I have fished for trout. It's been a few years. It's been a while back since I fished for trout. But I used to go and fish the fish rivers and streams and stuff like that not far from here. Right on the other side of the dam was a nice spot to go to. They have a picnic area and everything. What's going on, Casey? This is Lake Lanier. Still in Tennessee says, how late am I to the party? Even with the bell clicked to all YouTube, didn't send a notification. What's going on with YouTube? All right, shout out to Big Ivy. He says, is it just my imagination? Away from me every night on my knees, I pray, dear Lord, hear my prayer. Okay, all right. So Big Ivy's out there putting in some prayers. All right, so I can see some activity out there. So we're gonna get one of these fish to bite. We're gonna make them bite. We're gonna do some force feeding today. All right, Casey says, assumed it was Lanier since water is still green. Oh, yes, sir. You see that green water? Our lake is really muddy right now from the rain up the rivers. All right. James says, I caught catfish with chewing gum. I mean, catfish will eat just about anything. no, guys. Got hung up right when I see a bunch of fish in perfect position, and I broke off. See some fish in perfect position where I need them to be. So we'll retie that in just a second. I'll show you guys how I do that. But let's get out here where I see these fish at. Let's see if I can get these fish to come over here. Had them come and swipe at it, but no takers. How about that? Let's back off of them a little bit. Just make a wild random cast. Man, these fish are definitely not active. So I see a lot of fish out there, guys, but I had one come at it. The other one was just sitting there looking. They're like, nah, not today. Not today. We're not feeling it today. All right, let's get retied and get back out there on the bottom. Actually, let me try something a little bit different out here. You guys know I can't give up on my topwater bite. Make a real long cast with that. Yep, definitely not gonna be that kind of day. I can tell by the reaction of those fish. All right, let's go ahead and put this up. This was that gunfish I was telling you guys about, throwing that on 12-pound monofilament line. All right, I'm back. All right, so let's get retied real quick, guys. The fish are acting a little different, so let's try something a little different as far as the shaky head goes. Or I could try one of these small jigs that I had got set up for another tournament that I was using. Let's do that. Let's have some fun with a jig and a shaky head. So let's see, let's get that set up and get the shaky heads tied back on. And like I said, since those fish are acting a little different, let's try one of these worms right here with a different jig head on here. Let's see, what do I have available? All right, there we go. Don't need any of that. All right, so what we can do is go ahead and get a little bit of smell good on that worm. Go ahead and hook that one up. It won't hurt to put a little bit on that jig too. How about that? Just a little bit. There we go, got a little bit on that. All right. And what I showed you guys before, for me, I like tying a polymer knot on just about everything. It's nice and simple. It's caught some of the biggest fish and got those fish to the boat for me, so I will stick with it. All right, for that polymer knot, just go through the loop or through the eye of that jig. Man, I do not have my bait caster for my jig out. So let's see, maybe I'll get that in just a second, but let's go ahead and get this shaky head on here. All right, let's get back down there. So those fish are lined up just offshore, well, out on this point. So I'm right next to the bank, but I'm casting out to the fish. Throwing that shaky head out there, letting it drop all the way down and coming back and seeing if they'll hit it with a little tappy tap. All right, so let's hop back into the chat. What are you guys talking about here? Oh my goodness. Outlaw Josie Wales. That is one of my favorite Westerns right there. Oh my goodness. All right, good deal. The Outlaw Josie Wales. I actually have the DVD. All right, good deal. All right, what does he say? He says, I would go with a chartreuse because of the color of the water. So yeah, you saw I had a little bit of that watermelon with the chartreuse tip on it. We'll see if they like it. Tom says, okay, you guys just fished Jackson. Yeah, that can be a tough lake. A lot of small fish if you just go out there and don't really know too much about it. Go out there and come back with a 5-fish limit for 4-something pounds, unless you have, unless you know a little something about the lake. Some of those guys going out there catching 3 and 4 pounders on that lake. Man, I cannot believe these fish on this point are not hitting the shaky head. Let me ease on out to some deeper water. I'm throwing out to about 10 feet of water. Let's see if maybe because of this heat, it's pushed the fish out, the active fish out a little bit further. Is Josie Wells still in the chat? How did you come up with that name? How did you come up with that name? All right, let me see. Vibe, what is that? Vibe King says, what kind of fishing rod do you have? This one right here is a spinning rod. The brand is Ducket Black Ice. These are a little more on the expensive side. I have a lot of Micro Magic rods, but this one is a 7.2 medium. I use this for my shaky head. I have 2 of these rods. I throw that on a Lew's Mach 2 spinning reel. I use High Vis Yellow. This is 15-pound braid, Yozuri braid, and I tie that to a, depending on if I'm going to be fishing a lot of structure, I'll put a 12-pound leader on this rod, or I may drop it down to 10-pound fluorocarbon leader, just depending on what type of structure I'm going to be fishing. All right, Robbie said, hit him with the drop shot. Sam says, do you have a fish whistle? Well, we have a whistle on the boat. I don't know if that's what you're talking about, though. Robbie Brown says, drop shot a robo worm. That's all you need. Just hit him with a robo worm. All right, let's see. Man, those fish are... All right, let me show you guys what I'm looking at. So these fish are 60 to 70 feet out. Can you see them out there? And they're suspended right at about 10 feet. So those fish should come up and hit a top water bait when they're that high in the water column. And like I said earlier, you know, a lot of times it's just a timing thing. Just have to be at the right place, right time whenever those fish start getting active. All right, so I just made a 75-foot cast. So my cast hit right there. It's coming right down into those fish. So you can see these fish follow my bait down. So that bait is going all the way to the bottom right there at about 75 feet out. And let's just see. I'm going to fish it real slow, and we'll see if we can get some activity from it. Clumo, is that how I pronounce it? Says, would you rather fish with a bait caster or a spinning reel? It really depends on the technique that I'm fishing, but I would say a bait caster, because if I'm fishing with a bait caster, I'm generally fishing something that is going to get a bigger bite. Oh, there they go, there they go, there they go. Man, they're over there chasing bait fish. Man. All right, back to the shaky head. So we're just fishing the shaky head nice and slow. All right, Vibe King says, do you eat the fish when you catch them? No, sir. I put those fish back in the water. I'll eat some salmon or something like that, but pretty much spotted bass, things like that, I put those back. All right, so what's my favorite lure? My favorite lure is some type of top water. So if I can get those fish to hit like a top water walking bait or something like that, that's what I really like. That's how I like to fish. And that is correct. That is a bait caster. This is a spinning reel right here that I'm using right now. So that's a spinning reel. This reel right here, that is a bait caster. That is another spinning reel right there. So I just have kind of a mixture, just depending on what technique I'm using. Stealing says, aren't they all bait casters? Don't you cast bait with all of them? Man, I cannot believe that these fish are just out there like that and they're just not active at all right now. Viking says, have you caught a catfish before? Yes, sir. I've caught a lot of catfish. Caught some very big catfish. That's my 2 cents. Is these fish must still be in school today. Yeah, today has been a very slow day for me. All right, so we're gonna run for about 20 more minutes. So let's see, guys. Let's see what we can make happen in 20 minutes. All right, so who has been here since the beginning? Who thinks they have been here watching today's live stream the longest? Just put longest in the chat if you've been here. If you've been here for a decent amount of time watching today's live stream. Klumo says, agreed, the blow-ups are the best type of bites. Oh, yeah. All right, Vibe King says, oh, yeah, I've been watching. I've been watching a whole lot of casting going on today. So tomorrow, hopefully, I'll get out here a little earlier. Yeah, today has definitely not been the typical day. I've been out here for coming up on just about 2 hours. Generally, I'm able to get out here. Okay, we just got a bite, guys. Got a bite, but it did not take it. I thought we were about to see some action. But it was a no-go. All right, let me try something a little different. All right, so you see that bait right there? I have that chartreuse on there. So what we're gonna do is add a little red onto this bait. All right, can you guys see that? Added a little bit of red on here. Just dipped it right into the tip of this, just to get a little something different on there. All right, fishing for dollar says, hey, Money, I just got to notice that you just now got that $20 I sent, over a week ago. Does it take that long to get paid from YouTube? Yes, sir, it does. It comes in, I think, on the 21st of the month. You know, sometimes people send cash apps if they want things to go through right away. That's the best way to do it because YouTube doesn't take a cut of that. But as long as somebody's supporting the channel, I'm always grateful, always grateful. Whether you are getting active in the chat, sending super chats, getting memberships, all of that stuff, it all helps out the channel because we're growing pretty fast. And so, yeah, I definitely appreciate you supporting the channel. Still in Tennessee says, I'm hoping I get my boat back today. The mechanic has been promising to have it done for the past 6 weeks. Oh, my goodness, that doesn't sound good. All right, so I just got hung up, guys. I'm not going to break this one off this time. Let's just go out here and see if we can get it back. These fish aren't biting, so it's not worth breaking off baits today. Mike Kimball says, try to get some reaction strikes. Throw something fast like a rattle trap. 5 says, what's your favorite fish? My favorite fish to eat? I would say it's some flounder. I went to this place down in Savannah called the Pink House, and they had some flounder down there. Man, it's worth the drive. I'll go back again just for that. My favorite fish to catch, I would say, is a largemouth, because generally a largemouth, if you're going for like a fish that's 6, 7, 8, 9 plus pounds, is going to be a largemouth. All right, did I get my bait back? I sure did. But yeah, so yeah, I would prefer to catch a largemouth if I'm gonna be out catching some fish, because the chances are greater of that being a good one. But on this lake, I mean, people win tournaments on Lake Lanier with all spotted bass. They'll come in with 5+ pound spotted bass. Come in with 5 of those, you'll be sitting at 25 pounds. And so a 23-pound bag is you know, something that the guys fish this lake a lot. I do not catch that caliber of fish on this lake that often. I mean, I can get up to the 3-pound class, but you know, that knowledge or whatever it takes to kind of make that next step, I'm kind of working on that. It's a work in progress. All right, let's see, what else are you guys talking about in the chat? Fishing for Dollar says, my Caymans performed great during the Yeti Open last weekend. Winds 30+ on Friday. Not one drop on me. Okay, impressed with the Caymans. Okay, good deal with that. How did you do in the tournament? All right, time is ticking on me, guys. Time is ticking. That's my 2 cents. Says, really enjoy your chat while fishing. Oh yeah, that's really what it's about. Because a lot of times I come out here, I could be out for 2 hours and catch no fish like today, or I could come out here for 2 hours and, you know, catch, I don't know, how many pounds did I catch the other day, guys? So, you know, I mean, All about getting out here, having some fun on the lake, making the most of it, enjoying the day, just sharing some time with you guys in the chat. Uh-oh, there we go. Ah, man, got the hit, but not the fish. How about that? The hit without the... once again, the hit without the fish. All right, so let's just get right back over there again. Tim says, I lobster and never flounder. Oh yeah, lobster's a good one too. But I wouldn't consider lobster a fish though. All right, who is this that just joined? We have Lawrence says, hey Money, I just joined. If you have not yet done so, please run us through your live image settings. I can never get mine as clear as yours. Okay, I can do that. Like I said, that's what we're here for, guys. Have some good time out on the water. Hopefully I can, you guys find some value in the content, whether it's learning some new techniques out here on the lake, even if it's not any fish being caught. There's still some things that we can get out here and have some fun sharing information with. But yeah, I'll show you my settings. My screen is a little dirty. I'll clean my screen off in just a second, and then I'll go through and show you all the settings on here with the sensitivity, contrast. What are those other settings on there? But all of those good settings that are, kind of important to make sure you get your unit set up the way that you need it to be set up. Man, so we've had what, about 3 bites today. Wasn't able to get any of those fish to the boat. I wasn't able to even tell if they were some small ones or not. But it's not over. It's not over till it's over. Let's see what else are you guys talking about in the chat. That's my 2 cents. Says, at least the hits keep it interesting, but catching is more fun. That is true. That is true. All right, let's spin around. Fishing for Dollar says 6.141 the 50. What? What does that mean? Are you saying a 6.14 pounder, 150 grand? Now that sounds like a pretty decent tournament right there. $50,000 tournament. Wow. And that was just one fish, so it was just a big fish tournament, basically. All right, I was getting another bite, guys. So at least things are changing a little bit. So I had to change my worm up. Might need to downsize the worm a little bit, but nah. I'm a little hard-headed sometimes. I'll stick with it. Still got another bite. That one felt like it was gonna be gonna go ahead and commit to that bite and keep the bait, but it still spit it back out. We'll get one of these sooner or later. All right, so Fishing for Dollar says, okay, the Yeti open. All right, fishing for hourly payouts as well. Okay, that's cool. That's a good one. Yes, a big fish tournament. All right, let me see. That's my 2 cents. Says, I missed my boat. Missing that boat, huh? I was fishing this summer and I caught a lot. But it wasn't, I thought I had something. Wasn't more than just catching bait. Nothing, okay. None big enough to eat. All right, so did anyone say they had a tournament coming up this weekend or anything like that? Fishing for Dollars said KVD gave away the check. Oh, man, okay. All right, good deal. Oh, yeah, I forgot that is one of his sponsors. Really, really appreciate everybody for tuning in. If you are new to the channel, please consider subscribing. We get out here on the lake at least once a week. Sometimes I'm out here 2, 3, 4 times a week, just really depending on the weather. I'll try to be back out here again tomorrow. Depending on how the weather goes. So if you guys take a look out there now we have a few clouds coming into play, but it's still not really enough to kind of change the, change the day, because it's still, as I showed you earlier, the sun is out bright. It's kind of warm out here. The water temp is about 74, 75 degrees, something like that. I think tomorrow's weather may be about the same, so I'll come prepared tomorrow to do a few different things, and you guys can come along with me so we'll have some fun like we did today. That's my 2 cents. Says I subbed today. Thanks for your thank you for your channel. Really, really appreciate that. Really, really appreciate it. Yeah, guys, like I was saying, we've been growing. Channel's growing pretty fast. Making a lot of moves, just changing things up a little bit. We still do our weekly live stream on Tuesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern. But I'm starting to have more fun coming out here, doing these on the water live streams. So I'll probably start increasing these a little bit more, change the format of those. So right now we're still, just getting things started as far as these on the water lives. But like I said, we will start doing things, changing the format, changing the way the screen looks. I may have split screen, some different information, things like that. But yeah, so we're growing, guys. Lauren says, out of interest, what is your day job? My day job is to live life. Just trying to live a little. No, I do a little real estate here and there. That's about it, just a little bit. every now and then. That's why I had to mute out. I had a contractor calling in. One of the storms came through, so I had to send some contractors out to take care of something. All right, Christopher Sims says, what is your favorite fish? Are you talking about to eat or to catch? My favorite fish to catch in a tournament would be an 8+ pound largemouth. My favorite fish to eat is along the lines of flounder and salmon. Man, I'm looking around and the fish just aren't cooperating today. I had to break down and start fishing a shaky head. Normally a shaky head should get something to the boat. But even the shaky head today, these fish just are like, nah, partner, we're just not feeling it today. Oh, Christopher said you should try grouper. Oh yeah, I had plans on trying, it was some lobster stuffed grouper. There's a place in Savannah called the Pink House. Has anybody heard of or been to a place called the Pink House in Savannah? That's where I got that flounder. It was apricot, crisp, something like that, seared flounder. And when I got that, man, I had to make a drive back just to eat that again. But yeah, I may have to go back and, because I think they had some lobster stuffed grouper. And I mean, that flounder was so good the first time, I was going to have to order 2 meals because I was like, yeah, I want to try that grouper. But I drove all the way down here to get that, what was it again? That apricot flounder. Man, that was nice. All right, that's my 2 cents is, what is a shaky head? All right, so a shaky head is a technique, and it's also kind of a jig. So it's just a ball head jig. That's the way I tie mine. I mean, that's the way I set mine up. And then it just has a regular worm. You can throw a trick worm, finesse worm, magnum shaky head worm, just whatever type of robo worm, just any type of worm that you want on there. And to fish it, and actually search MoneyBass shaky head setup. MoneyBass shaky head setup. And I go over in detail of how I set everything up, how I fish it, all of that. Just search that on YouTube. But just a quick rundown, I throw that on a spinning rod. And the reason I throw it on a spinning rod instead of a bait caster is because for me, I like right now, I'm currently sitting in 21 feet of water. If you can see that on there, I'm in 21 feet of water. So sometimes I'll cast this out into 40 feet of water. On a bait caster, for me, what I found is that I was reeling it to a point where it would not be making contact with the bottom. And I definitely need to keep it on the bottom. And so let me just see if I can show you real quick. So like on this line, you take a look down there at the line. You see the line moving? So this high-vis yellow allows me to see those loops moving. So in just a second, let me put another loop in there. The line is still moving. You see the line kind of going out. Now it just stopped. So it will let me see whenever this line is actually on the bottom. And it's easier for me to keep this bait on the bottom with this spinning reel, because I can reel it a little bit and then I just let that slack come back into it. I'll tighten up that slack and just shake it. So that's basically a shaky head. You just want to shake it. Some people are out here kind of wild with it, you know, just rocking the rod all over the place. Some people just do little subtle shakes with it. Some people may drag it, shake it, let it sit. I mean, it's just all in the different types of action. So some people have a certain technique or a certain cadence that they do with it, but that is the basics of a shaky head. But yeah, just search MoneyBass shaky head setup on YouTube, and then you'll see it'll come up where I have a full video that shows you everything about the setup. All right, so who is that? Plonker says, what diameter braid do you suggest for spinning reels? It really depends on the on what bait you're going to be using, what technique you're going to be using. So for me, with my shaky head, I like using 15 or 20-pound braid. That way I can get a long cast. Now the leader, I will use an improved Alberto knot or a double uni knot to tie my braid to fluorocarbon. So my fluorocarbon leader is probably about 20 something feet long. So that way the fish never see the braid. And that's the goal with that. But that braid is good filler line and it is great for casting. Whenever I cast this, I want to make sure I get it out to maybe, man, if I can get a 85 to 90 foot cast with my shaky head, then that's what I'll do. So let me just show you something real quick. So right here, if you guys are looking at this screen, these are some fish right here moving along the bottom, and they're sitting in almost 30 feet of water. And I'm sitting in 20 feet of water, and they're 50 feet out. Look at all those fish right here moving around. Let me see. I need to go ahead and get a drop shot. Those fish are kind of relating to the bottom, just a little off the bottom. Changing the subject real quick. let me grab this shaky. My drop shot setup, and I'll just pitch this. Well, these fish are directly under the boat now. So they're directly under the boat, and I'm dropping my line straight down to where those fish are at. And let's just see if any of those fish will hit it. All right, none of those fish hit it. So what I'm going to do is just pitch this right out here about 20 feet out to where those fish are moving through some cover. And just see if they go over to it. All right, let's see. Who else do we have tuning in? I'm hopping back into the chat. Let me see where I was at. My 2 cents. Love the flounder. Had it. Okay, and the caimans. Okay, you know, I thought you said caimans a little earlier. Or maybe somebody did was talking about a boat. All right, then we have the Dougster. Says hi from... Uh-oh, did I get hung up or did I get a fish? I think I got hung up. Okay, got out of there. Good deal. All right, let's see. Hi from Arkansas. Good deal. What is a shaky head? All right, so we just went through that. Lauren says, I have heard about the pink house, but that is another story for another day. Christopher Sims says, where are you fishing at? I am out here on Lake Lanier, sir. Trying to see if I can catch 1 or 2 fishes out here. All right, let's see. My 2 cents says, thanks. I will find it on the channel now. All right, so you found it. Good deal. Okay, so Plonker says, what diamond braid? I told you about that. AWG, what's going on? Glad you are tuning in. Christopher Sims, where are you fishing at? Lake Lanier. Awesome setup you got. Really appreciate that. All right, AWG says, hi from South Africa. Oh, yeah. You guys may not have known, but yeah, MoneyBass is worldwide. We have people here from South Africa, Australia, Indonesia, Ireland, Germany. Who else was tuning in the other day? Yeah, if you could, everybody that's watching, just drop where you are located at. Where are you checking in from? Drop where you're located at in the chat. We have a real nice, diverse audience. People from a little bit of everywhere. Different types of fishing, different techniques, different experiences. So we can all get on here and share that information and have some great fun with that. Learn some things that we may have never learned before. All right here on this channel. All right, Hector says he's from LA. All right, so I think we're sitting right on top of some fish. Let's just drop this down and see if anybody is home. Is anybody home? All right, let's see. Who else do we have checking in? Joe Winkler. Shout out to Joe Winkler, the sponsor of this live stream, guys. He hit the channel with the $20 super chat. All right, he says checking in from Iowa. That's my 2 cents, says Novi, Michigan. Hope I'm pronouncing that right. Salty Edit says, what's your biggest bass you have caught? My biggest, what is that? Spotted bass is a 5-pound, 11-ounce. My biggest largemouth is 8.57 pounds. Earl says 5 miles from Shasta Lake in North California. 360 miles of shoreline and multi-breeds off of fish. Okay. And fishing. All right, we have Earl subscribing, and good luck. Really, really appreciate you taking the time to subscribe to the channel. Really appreciate the strong support from everybody that has been tuning in, dropping comments, getting active in the chat, subscribing to the channel, and definitely hitting the like button. We are up to 119 likes. So really appreciate it, guys. All right, let me see. That's my 2 cents, says Earl. Now you just bragging. Yeah, Earl is like, oh yeah, this is where you want to come if you want to go fishing. California, land of the big fish. All right, so we're out here around some fish now. Let's see what happens. So yeah, these fish are out here suspended. So I just came out here directly to where they're at and just got right on top of those fish and see if they'll chase this drop shot down to the bottom. Just let it sit down there where these fish are kind of located. All right, so anybody else, where else are you guys from? Drop your location in the chat. What state or country or location, city, all that good stuff. Where are you checking in from? Tom Mix says, I'm in southern Illinois where the fishing is good. My biggest bass landed is 8 pounds, 11 ounces, so you got me. Yeah, so that's a little bigger than mine. Mine is just a little over 8.5 pounds. Yours is pushing 9. And I caught that fish on, what lake was that? Lake Eufaula. No, that was Lake Chickamauga that I caught that fish on. Caught him with a 6XD crankbait with 10-pound fluorocarbon line. Gotta love that. Gotta love it. Zyros Garden says, Florida, baby. All right, we have Florida checking in. Bill Owen says, Shelbyville, Indiana. Bass fishing, not very good here. Well, just not very big ones, all right? But hey, if you're catching, it's still fun. You can get out there and catch some small ones and still have a great day on the lake. All right, let's see. Somebody was asking about, Bill Meeks, checking in from South Carolina. Good deal, good deal. Oh, yeah. I mean, some days people are out here begging to catch a 12-inch fish like me. I mean, if let's say I would have caught 10 to 20 12-inch little fish today, hey, it would have been a great time. I'd have been having some fun with that. All right. So some of you guys were asking about the boat. So let me just do a quick tour of the boat once again. So up front, I'm running 2 units. I have a 12-inch helix on the front. I have a 10-inch helix. Both of these are Humminbirds. As you can see, I'm running live imaging on this one. This one I run my mapping, and I also run 360. Let me just show you. If I hit that button right there, it goes to 360, which gives a all-around view. So right here, I can already see that I'm fishing a ledge. There's some type of cover or something right there. And I could also just turn my live imaging right over there. And if you take a look, you see it right here. And then I turn my live imaging and you can see whatever that structure is. Looks like it may be like a little ledge or some rocks. And there's fish right there. You guys see those fish swimming up? All right, so that's what I have up front. So there's my 360 right over here on the side. I run an Ultrex trolling motor. All right, so now if we come around back. Oh, and this is a Nitro Z20. At the console, I have 2 units, both Humminbirds. So here's one Humminbird. This is a 10-inch unit right here. My 9 goes right there, but right now I just have it sitting down here. I have to get another knob to put that back on. That knob came loose. All right, on the back, I'm running a Talons. I have 2 Talons. I have one right here, one right here. So those are, you can control them with remote, and it has a little control panel right here. And I have a Mercury 250. All right, have my nice coat angler seat that isn't used very often. Have some storage right here. A nice size live, let me move this weight out of the way. Have a very nice sized cooler. See all those bottled waters in there with no ice. Has a trash can right there. But yeah, so that's it, guys. Running this nice Nitro Z20. That's my 2 cents. I have never caught a fish on anything artificial. Oh man, that doesn't sound like too much fun right there. But I guess even if you're catching something on live bait, it's still fun. As long as you feel that tug, it's all good. Anthony checking in from Pennsylvania. Really appreciate you for tuning in to the live stream. All right, guys, we have been out here rolling. We've been rolling. We've had a great time. We've had a great day. So I will be back out here hopefully tomorrow. I will try to get out here a little earlier before the sun comes up. But let me just show you guys the view out here. It is a very lovely day. The clouds are just now coming into play. The sun is bright, high and bright. You guys see that? The sun is high and bright, so the clouds are starting to come into play a little bit. But I will be gone before those clouds reach up there to cover that sun up and give us a little bit of shade coverage. So it did start heating up a little bit. But it's all good. Had a great time out here hanging out on the lake. Met some new people that came and checked out the live stream today. So that is always the goal, to meet new people. Have some people that came into the chat, said, hey, I've learned some things. And they went out and applied it and had some great days out on the lake. And like I said, that is definitely a good thing. And I guess I can fish a shaky head and talk at the same time. But yeah, so I definitely appreciate everybody for tuning in. Make sure you guys tune in tomorrow. And like I said, if you have not subscribed to the channel, just consider subscribing. Make sure you hit the like button on the way out. All right, let's see. What are you guys talking about in the chat? Tom Mix says the biggest tournament fish is a 6-pound 4-ounce. Okay, Crab Orchard Lake. All right. Let's see, just going through here. Still in Tennessee is from, how do you pronounce that? Is that Laverne, Tennessee? Am I saying that right? All right. Let's see. AWG says, oh, yeah, it's kitted out. Yeah, I have a little something on here. Can't fish without Mountain Dew and Doritos. Yeah, I need to go home and get something to eat. I just planned on coming out here, spending an hour or two, which ended up being about a little over 2 hours out on the lake today. All right, let's see what else you guys are talking about. That's my 2 cents. Says, beautiful day out there. Be blessed. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Definitely always have to be thankful for the things that you have and for where you are currently at, because things could always be worse. And there's always better days ahead, guys. So enjoy where you're at. Enjoy the process of whatever it is that you're working on, because that time will pass, guys, and then it'll just be a memory that you look back on. All right. So really appreciate everybody for tuning in. Make sure you hit the subscribe button on your way out, and also the like button. Really appreciate you guys. Shout out to Joe Winkler for sponsoring today's show with the $20 super chat. Shout out to Big Mike with the $10 worth of super chats. And also big shout out to Bass for Him. I guess I owe you guys a little something. So tomorrow, I'm already 3 fish down. I'm 3 fish down. So I have to get out here tomorrow and get 3 fish to the boat to make up for the sponsors of the live stream. I got to get out here and put in some work. All right. Really appreciate it, guys. I'm going to go ahead and head out. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Make sure you tune in, subscribe so you get the notifications. It is a beautiful day.